What an absolutely filthy way to win a hockey game as Alexandre Texier pulls out his signature move as Jakub Dobeš backstops the Habs to a massive win. Ivan Demidov gets a point, Slaf gets a point, Caufield's up to 30 points, making some Habs recent history alongside Nick Suzuki. But of course, all talk is on Alexandre Texier, the shootout specialist, the fire poker, the French poke, whatever you want to call it. And Jesse, what a game from the Montreal Canadiens. And hey, before we get into it, we're only 100 subscribers away from 24,000. And if you want Texier to score more goals like this, you've got to subscribe to the channel because he will notice, he will score more goals, and it's completely free. Jesse, what a game this was. So much good to talk about here in this one. Take a look at the box score. Only a few people getting points here, but really it was the ending of that game that capped it all off. But Dobeš as well, solid game in net. It started out as a boring one, got exciting a little late with that Leaf shorthanded goal, but all in all, the Habs have solidified themselves as clear-cut third in the Atlantic once again.
And Josh, I am really, again, just so happy about the Montreal Canadiens performance here tonight. And they really showed that when they played some good defense, kind of limiting those kind of second opportunity chances from the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they get like just somewhat a resemblance of good goaltending, which they got from Jakub Dobeš, they can be a very good hockey team because make no mistake about it, they should have gotten more against Hildeby. He was basically standing on his head. It was almost like a kind of like a deja vu of Comrie, where it's basically just the other night where it's like, we are the better team against the Jets. Their goalie is keeping them in. But once again, we found a way. And we're really, I felt like even in the first period, being much better team. In the second period, which has been a big source of woe for the Montreal Canadiens, like very strong period. Like we were really taking it to them in that second period, Josh. I love to see. Speaking of love, Josh, I'm just loving the like how like the forecheck is a foundation of this team right now. And again, like getting like realize this is what we need to do. Even going back to last year, like that's what they did so well. And tonight you can just tell, like being so thoughtful of like where they were putting the pucks, just put themselves in good opportunities to get it back. They needed to kind of bide their time. In the second period, it came, but it was just a matter of time. They were getting their chances, and of course, they got reward in the end for it.
Yeah, 100%. Look, the third period, the Leafs were buzzing for a bit. It's all right, but we held our own. And again, in large part, you mentioned due to Jakub Dobeš, again, 2-0-1 now versus the Toronto Maple Leafs in his career with a 1.31 GAA. By the way, this snaps an 11-game winless streak. Well, I guess 11-game losing streak. There's no ties in hockey anymore. 11-game losing streak at the Scotiabank Arena. And I mean, what a performance from him. But you're right. I mean, the forecheck was so good tonight, and even helping Jakub Dobeš, right? The more you keep the puck out of your own zone, the better you're going to be. And that was shown in the shot differential. Like, Dobeš only faced 23 shots. We had well over 30 tonight, which was really nice. There was a period of this game where we were out shooting the Leafs by over 10, and it was like a different team that we were seeing. Look, we weren't the best on the faceoff dot. Toronto was one of the best teams in the league at that, of course, with Matthews and Tavares. So no shame in that. But like, we were managing, like you said, Jesse, to hustle, to win these puck battles. When we got the puck in deep, again, Slaf doing an incredible job, I thought, a few times, again, this game, winning puck battles down low. Some mistakes that nearly cost us, later in this game, but it was what it was. But again, like, this game is nothing without the scoring, and right, highlighting, we'll get to Texier in just a bit because there's some stuff to talk about with him, but the Habs now have two different players with 30-plus points in the first 27 games of a season for the first time in almost 30 years. Since 1996-97, the last duo to do this for the Habs was Saku Koivu and Mark Recchi, and it's now Nick Suzuki and Cole Caufield joining the club. Caufield with 30 points in 27 games. Slaf has 7 points over his last 7 games. Caufield on a 10-game point streak. I think, Jesse, look, we've tried these weird mixed-up top sixes, but I think at this point, it's as clear as day, and I know it came on the power play today, but that power play with Ivan Demidov out there, that first line of Slafkovsky, Suzuki, Caufield, at this point, I'd be wary of making any changes because clearly it's getting results.
It's looking like gospel at this point in time. Again, really contributing to Caufield, again, being the hottest player in the NHL right now at a 10-game point streak. Doing this for the Montreal Canadiens, that's a record that hasn't been done in a very long time. Making a strong case at the right time, Josh, to make Team USA, right? Like just such a clutch player again. Obviously some great opportunities. Like we're kind of expecting him again in overtime, just being so clutch in the shootout. Once again, once it matters so much. But speaking about being clutch, like in overtime in the shootout, like Jakub Dobeš. Josh, like how good was that save that he made on William Nylander?
Oh,
I'm not sure. Like that was a quality move. Like just the speed, and you don't typically see like guys going quick all the time on the shootout with that type of skill. Like Nylander is one of the guys he can execute that at high speed like that. If you can make that type of save, like that for me was grade A, like just showing like so good for Dobesh's like confidence going forward. If he can make that save on Nylander there on how we executed that, like he can make a lot going forward. So for me, like that was such a game difference. Like tonight, like Dobesh just standing on his head when it really, really mattered the most, making some key saves down the stretch for this team, which again is so important. We know getting that goaltending back, but also helping them out. You know, we know it's a team effort, and the Montreal Canadiens are definitely, you know, cognizant of that fact.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I shout out Caufield's for a shootout goal, too, making it look easy. Dennis Hildeby looked like he was, like, if you guys didn't see it, like, Hildeby looked terrified that Caufield was going to go 5-hole, just like he did last game against the Jets. Hildeby is 6'7", and he's crouched down. Caufield makes it look easy. Look at that hole in the top left corner of the net. Oh, it was incredible. What a move. And like you said, too, Dobesh to give your team confidence, just making that Nylander fast. You're like, oh, you're so worried. And he had Dobesh biting on the first fake, but Dobesh's athleticism really led to him making that incredible stop with his left toe. And so from there on out, even though Matthews had a nice goal of his own, the Habs had the upper hand, and it was absolutely incredible. And you know what? Speaking of the hand, oh my goodness. I mean, this is the final that we got to talk about. Alexandre Texier, you know, when he first started, like, you know, you hear rumors of him being like, okay, he doesn't love the puck on his stick that much. He likes to dump the puck in. Sure, he's a bit of a dump and chase player. He's got some high skill, but doesn't always make the best of it. But every game he's played for Montreal, Jesse, at least for me and you, I think we can agree, like, this guy has looked better and better. Just really gelling. And now, again, playing with Ivan Demidov and Oliver Kapanen, that's going to help your case for sure. But to have him pull out this move, we knew it. When he went into the last shootout, we're like, oh, come on, man. You got to pull it out, right? Tonight, he did. This French poke, fire poke, or whatever, insane move. And, you know, shootout specialists, they can matter. They can be the difference in some wins in the season. And Texier was huge for the Habs tonight. He said after the game from TVA Sport, he was like, yeah, I practiced it. He's like, I knew what I was going to do as soon as I came up. And we're putting faith into him. And what a great signing this is already turning out to be.
Yeah, just such a great addition for this team. And again, like, you know, with some injuries, playing on that second line, but providing a lot of speed right there. And again, getting the game winner for us here tonight. But we've also seen where he's been able to contribute on assists of getting like game tying goals and other things. So he's been able to contribute the team in a lot of ways and kind of a seamless fit right now. Again, showing a lot of skill. We're liking what we're seeing. And as you said, Josh, the key words just keeps getting better and better. And of course, when you're a new player coming into a new team, getting a game-winning goal, this helps to make you feel comfortable. Of course, you want to feel like you're contributing to the team. You're helping to make things happen. But of course, when you have this high level of skill, Montreal Canadiens are obviously a team that go to overtime and the shootouts a lot. You know, still a young team, and we're learning to win, and that's part of our process. So having a guy like Texier is so big tonight, Josh. Like, this was a big one. Of course, Leafs Saturday night. It's a big one. Right. And, you know, kind of, you know, again, Paul Bissonnette was saying that the Leafs were going to come out. You know, I'm just so happy that, you know, the Habs, he was talking to maybe a little bit of smack. So we're just happy to see that our boys, you know, we had faith that they'd be able to hold this one out here tonight.
100%. This is a huge win, too. I mean, yeah, I know the Leafs are near the bottom and the Habs are near the top. But, like, this is so close. Now we got helped out a bit by the St. Louis Blues, who we actually play tomorrow because they beat the Ottawa Senators. So got to come out hot on a back-to-back. But right now, like, 1 point back in the lead in the Atlantic. And we have fewer games played than the two teams ahead of us. Like, there's a real world where if Montreal wins tomorrow versus St. Louis, we could be in first very, very soon. So, like, again, and if the Leafs had won tonight, that switches up. The Leafs have 31 points, the Habs have 32, and we're talking, like, right in the middle of that Atlantic. So what a crucial goal this was. Like, I cannot understate how important this shootout goal from Alexandre Texier was to win this game tonight. And what a filthy way to end a hockey game. Unbelievable stuff. Leave your thoughts on all this down below. That'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. Right back at you tomorrow. You know where to find us after every single game right here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I want to know who the 24,000th sub is. So if we hit that from this video, you let us know. Thank you for tuning in every single day. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.